We'll be getting started in just a couple moments here. We are having difficulties with the camera. Hopefully we've got it figured out. We've gave every shot that we have at this point. Council all set? Meeting will now be in order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and thank you. We'll start off with the first item, please.
Roll call. Councilor Garrison.
Present.
Councilor Lunt.
Here.
Councilor McTevier.
Here.
Councilor Bickford.
Here.
Councilor Crafts.
Here.
Councilor Pesky.
Here.
And Councilor Brunel.
Here.
And the next item, please.
Good news and recognition.
Open the floor for any good news and recognition.
Okay, I'd like to announce that this was Twyla Lysette has been appointed as the president of the Maine Town and Cities Clerks Association, and it's a great big honor. And Diane and I went up to the ceremony where she was sworn in, and all the clerks were there, and it was really a big honor for her to be nominated and achieve this position. It's something that most towns can't brag about their clerk having achieved that. So I want to say congratulations, Twyla, and thank you for the hard work and dedication, both here as a clerk in Lisbon and for the organization that you've done that earned your respect of your peers. Thank you.
Is there anything else?
I have something, Dylan.
Diane?
I just want to recognize the staff out in the front office. The last couple of weeks have been really hard on them. We've been understaffed, and it's been very, very busy out in that front office. Taxes were due today, and they've just had long lines of people for the last few days, and they've worked very, very hard. And I just want to recognize them for their dedication and their really hard work.
Very good. Anything else? See nothing? We'll move on to the next item, please.
Is the public hearings, the 2015-16 school budget.
We'll start off with the school budget public hearing. I'm not sure if Superintendent Green or anybody from the school department has anything you want to address the council with first before we open up to the public, or what would you like to do, but we can take anything from you.
I just wanted to point out the few changes that have been made in this proposed budget versus the last one. The biggest change has been the decrease in the amount of revenue taken from the proceeds from the projects to pay the interest only. That has changed from the original amount, or in the last budget it was $304,551, and in this proposal it is $154,237. And then the other two changes quickly were the fact that we were able to use the entire state subsidy increase, which was $134,000, and we reduced the bus purchase, so another $28,468. Overall, the budget would, this proposed budget would have an increase in the local taxes of $56,425.
Perfect. Anybody from council have any comments, questions for Mr. Green? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Now open the public hearing for anybody who'd like to address the council on the proposed school budget. We'll limit the comments to 2 minutes each. We'll be moving on after 15 minutes if we do reach to that point. I'll just ask you to state your name and your address for the record, and we can get started. Anybody have any comments or questions? See none? All right, we'll move on to the next public hearing.
Appendix C, the fee schedule, section 2431, public safety fireworks violations.
I'd open the floor for the public hearing for the fireworks violations. Seeing none, move on to the next item, please.
The special entertainment permit for the Left Hand Club, a public hearing.
Open the public hearing. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. And the next item, please.
Is audience participation and response for agenda items.
I'll open the floor for audience participation regarding agenda items. Mr. Fillmore.
Larry Fillmore from Lisbon. I should have got up in the public hearing, but I'm a little slow and old, okay? I'm looking for how many citations have been issued by the police department since the town council decided to enforce our ordinance. The reason for this is because fireworks are continuing on both ends of town. There's been no stoppage at all. The second thing is, I look on your fees chart and that you want to change the fourth citation from $850 to $500. If we're trying to stop it, we shouldn't reduce the fines. We should increase the fine to make it a little bit harder for everybody. And I don't think reducing them is going to do anything, especially if we can't stop them. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Mr. Kaler.
Bob Kaler, 28 Dumas Street, Lisbon Falls. Couple things. One, and I don't know if I looked at an older copy of the minutes, but in looking at the minutes of the workshop on the 8th, the council comments were left out at the end, and I thought those would be important to have in the public record, which in a nutshell, but I certainly can send these to you, Twyla, if you don't have them as well, but about the chair's comments about people think about elections only being in November. Special interest groups vote between June and October, and only a few, 600 or 700 people voted. And if the budget was to fail in November, I'd bow down to it. And again, I think it's important to sort of have those comments in there because it's a strong position. And in looking back at previous workshop, council comments were always included. So I think my concern is I still think that these actions are setting a dangerous precedent and are going to slow the growth of our community. In terms of only a few hundred, 700 or 800 people voting, one of my questions would be, is there some sort of informal voting threshold on what we're accepting as votes? Certainly I don't think it's been discussed publicly, but that was the implication, and if I'm wrong, by all means, please speak up. And if this budget were to pass before November, so whatever budget you vote on today, is that something that you're going to accept as counselors? Based on what was said at the last meeting, at least one of you would vote no, but I would be very curious as to what the rest of you would do. So I hope you take the time to respond, because it's a very difficult, when we think about growing this community or trying to grow this community, which I think we all want to do, whether we work in some capacity for the town, whether we run our own small business, whether we want people to come here and we want people to want to come here. That's why we're here, but the opinions throughout this process, when the initial sort of charter, which of course grants the council the authority that it has, comes from the citizens. And when the citizens went to call a special town meeting, what we heard, which agree or
Mr.
disagree,
Kaler, I'm going to bring you back to the main point. This is for agenda items only, so if you're regarding the minutes, go right to the minutes. If not, you can address the council at the end of the meeting. This is for agenda items only.
Well, it's still related to the minutes.
Well, bring it back to the minutes because
Sure.
you are veering away from those.
Sure. At least one council member stated you would not follow the results of any vote not in November. So my question is, if the rest of the council feels the same way, I would encourage you to let us know. Because when people ask, and I've said this to some of you via email and personally, it would be good to let people know where in your mind this process ends. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? See none. We'll close audience participation. We'll go into response. I know Council Garrison indicated he wanted to respond to something.
I can respond to the question about the fees. That was lowered not because we wanted to. That's a requirement. That's as much as we can charge according to the state. That's the maximum fine.
I also had that to respond for as well, so thank you. And Mr. Fillmore, regarding the citations, don't have the slightest clue how many citations have been issued. If you want that information, you would have to go through the police department for that request. Mr. Kaler, I said it at the last budget or council workshop, and I'll say it again tonight. Votes in June, July, August, September, October, those are all special interest group votes. And I know some people don't like those words, but they are. And I maintain my position that when people think about voting, they think about voting in November. They don't think about other times. And I will wait to see what the results are from the November vote. Anyone else have anything to respond for? All right, move on to the next item, please.
The next item is the consent agenda. Anyone wishing to have any item removed may do so now. Items removed will be considered next. Order 2015-275 to approve the minutes of September 1, September 8, regular and workshop, and a liquor license and special entertainment permit for the Left Hand Club.
Open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
6 in favor, all those opposed? And the order passed.
And the next item, please.
Under council orders, resolutions, and ordinances, Order 2015-276, the school budget.
All right. In front of us, we have the school budget included in our packets, page 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. The school department submitted articles that are different than the last time. They didn't include the first 11 articles, as we've all said. We don't have the jurisdiction to change what is spent in individual line items, and they also see that the same way, so they did not include it in our packet this week. Council have any comments or questions on anything before we get going through the articles here? All right. We will start with Article 1, please.
Okay, Article 1, to see what sum the council will authorize the Lisbon School Department to appropriate for the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act. Recommendation, $13,470,314, and to see what sum the council will raise as the town's contribution to the total cost of funding public education for pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act in accordance with the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20A, Section 15688. School Committee recommends $4,412,240.
I would open the floor for a motion
I'll make the motion.
to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? And a roll call vote, please.
Okay. Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
And Counselor Garrison?
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed.
Article 2, please.
Article 2, to see what sum the council will authorize the Lisbon School Department to raise and appropriate for the annual payments on debt service previously approved by the legislative body for non-state funded school construction projects or non-state funded portions of school construction projects, in addition to the funds appropriated as the local share of the school administrative unit's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12. Amount recommended, $477,356.
I'll open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept.
The motion, Councilor Bickford. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Garrison?
Yes.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
And Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
Order passed, 7-0.
And Article 3, please.
Shall the town of Lisbon raise and appropriate $749,739 in additional local funds, which exceeds the state's essential programs and services allocation model by $455,920, as required to fund the budget recommended by the school committee? The school committee recommends $749,739 for additional local funds and gives the following reasons for exceeding the state's essential programs and services funding model by $455,920. The school committee recommends $749,739.
I'd open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion. I've got another.
The motion you want to make for a different amount?
Yes.
And what is that amount?
What is that amount? The council recommends raise the appropriate $515,551 in additional funds.
$515,551.
51.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion from Councilor Bigford. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All right. Any comments or questions on this? I think this is a good thing to make this amendment to the budget, as we've already committed taxes and we can't raise more money than we did to the tax commitment. So this will bring us back in line for the tax commitment. Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Lunt?
No.
Counselor Garrison?
No.
5 yeas, 2 noes. Order passed.
Due to that vote, we will skip Article 4 and we will go to Article 5.
Article 5, to see if the council will authorize the Lisbon School Department to appropriate $152,858 for adult education and raise $106,878 as the local share, with authorization to expend any additional incidental or miscellaneous receipts in the interest and for the well-being of the adult education program. School committee recommends yes.
Open the floor for motion.
I recommend yes.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Comments, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
Counselor Garrison?
Yes.
Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
And Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed.
And Article 6, please.
Article 6, to see what sum the council will authorize the Lisbon School Department to expend for adult education. School committee recommends $168,672.
I open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion to accept.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
Counselor Garrison?
Yes.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
And Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed.
And Article 7, please.
In addition to amounts approved in the preceding articles, shall the council authorize the school committee to expend sums as may be received from federal or state grants or programs or other sources during the fiscal year for school purposes, provided that such grants, programs, and other sources do not require the expenditure of other funds not previously appropriated. School committee recommends yes.
I'll open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
And Counselor Garrison?
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed.
And the next item, please. Or the,
Is
excuse me,
that
the next article.
8?
Article 8, please.
Okay. Shall the council of the town of Lisbon authorize expenditure of $43,260 from the school department capital reserve fund to be applied to the following plant maintenance and remodeling expenses in the fiscal year 2016 Lisbon School Department budget? Initial payment for the guaranteed performance contract, lease not covered by energy savings. School committee recommends $43,260.
Open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is that to accept?
Yes.
A second?
Second.
Councilor Mativier will get the second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Okay. Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
Counselor Pesky,
Yes.
Counselor Garrison,
Yes.
Counselor Bickford,
Yes.
Counselor Brunel,
Yes.
and Counselor Lund.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays, order passed.
In Article 9, please.
Shall the Council of the Town of Lisbon authorize expenditure of $154,237 of remaining proceeds from bonds issued by the Town of Lisbon for the gym and track project at Lisbon High School to be applied to pay interest on the bonds? School Committee recommends $154,237.
I'll open the floor for motion.
Make a motion to accept.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Any comments or questions from the council? I'll quickly say that I've had a lot of people reach out to me regarding this article, wondering how we went from a $304,000 number to a $154,000 figure. And I simply shared with them, and I'll share with everybody here, that I support authorizing the school department to use $154,000 in the interest, because the project is almost complete, and it is looking like we do have quite an excess of amount of funds left so far to expend, so I'm not really concerned about the danger of overcost. Also, this is in my opinion, a good give and take with the school department to give them more money than if we didn't, because we already committed taxes that we can raise through taxation. So this is a good win for the town, in my opinion. And with that being said, a roll call vote, please.
Okay. Counselor Crafts.
Yes.
Counselor McTevier.
Yes.
Counselor Brunel.
Yes.
Counselor Bickford.
Yes.
Counselor Pesky.
Yes.
Counselor Lund.
Yes.
And Counselor Garrison.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays, order passed.
Now we'll return to Article number 4, please.
Article number 4. To see what sum the council will authorize the Lisbon School Committee to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2015 and ending June 30th, 2016, from the town's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, non-state funded school construction projects, additional local funds for school purposes under the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20A, Section 15690, unexpended balances, tuition receipts, state subsidy, and other receipts for the support of schools. School Committee recommends $15,272,598.
I will offer an amendment to this, Article 4, to see what sum the council will authorize school committee to expend in the amount of $15,338,410 for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2015, ending June 30th, 2016.
I'll second that.
Councilor Bickford, second my motion. Any comments, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
Counselor Lunt?
No.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
Counselor Garrison?
No.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
And Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
5 yeas, 2 noes, order passed.
Madam Clerk, with your records, do we show a completion of all articles?
Yes. Yes. Article 4, $15,380,410.
No.
No, 38,000. 38,000, so it's 038.
Right.
$15,038,410.
That's what you said. 15,038,410.
That will wrap up Article, or Order 2015-276, and we'll now move on to the next item, please.
Order 2015-277, Appendix C, Fee Schedule, Section 2431, Public Safety Fireworks Violations. This would be a second reading. Roll call votes required.
In our packet, page 37, we have the proposed changes to the fireworks fee schedule. Does anyone have anything on this? I think we've beat this horse dead. I'll open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? With a second reading, a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Garrison?
Yes.
Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
And Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-278, the cemetery fees.
Diane?
We had a meeting, Twyla, myself, Mark Stevens, we met with the cemetery committee, and we came up with the following cemetery fees. For any lots, for the purchase of any new lots, which includes perpetual care and recording of the deed, we propose to charge $575, and that will go into a trust account. And for the lots that have currently been purchased, when they do a burial, we propose charging $300 per lot, and that's gonna go just to perpetual care, as we currently don't have any perpetual care on those lots. So those are the two fees that the cemetery committee came up with. We did check around, and those fees are very competitive. They're not too high, they're kinda in the middle range.
Anything from council on this?
I just do want to say that we currently are maintaining the Lisbon cemeteries, and we are paying for it through our budget, through the Parks and Recreation Department's budget. So we are not using any fees from perpetual care or for anything from the trust funds, but moving forward, we'd like to start doing that once we start charging.
I have a couple questions on this. What cemeteries is this going to be applying to?
It's mainly going to be the Davis, right? The Davis Cemetery.
Okay.
We have, we do take care of Cotton Road Cemetery and the Littlefield Road Cemetery. And then we have the Blake Cemetery and then the Davis, but I think the one that's going to have the burials will be just the Davis Cemetery. I don't think there's much going on in the others, and I think some of the others are so small there aren't any lots left anyway. But we're trying to get that information from Mr. Packard, and we're going to try to plot out the cemeteries. We really don't have a good map of what's available, but we're going to be working on that once he gets us what he has, and everything he has is just handwritten. So we're going to try to put some semblance to that and plot out some lots that are available. But there's really no really good record keeping of that right now. And we also want to, at some point, put the names of the people that own the lots as well, the burial lots. So we've got some work to do ahead of us, but we want to use the GIS mapping to do that.
Okay. Now, my other question I had was, in the Davis Street Cemetery, you said that when someone is buried there, they would then be charged a $300 fee for perpetual care. Have these people already paid in advance for these sites?
They've paid for the lot, but they have not paid for perpetual care. That's what they haven't paid.
Okay. Do you know how much they've already paid? Where I'm going with this, I want to make sure that those people aren't going to be paying more than if I was to go buy that a cemetery lot in there tomorrow. You know, I think we need to make sure that we're fair with how this, what someone is going to be charged.
I don't remember what the lots used to go for, but they were probably 100 or something. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. And my other question was, you guys looked at surrounding towns for fees? Okay. All right. Anything from council? Okay. I'm just wondering about, I'm just trying to visualize in my head how all this is going to work, that's all.
I did not get the impression that if you had purchased a lot, you'd be paying more than the $575 in the end. I didn't
Okay.
get that impression at all.
Okay. All right, very good. I'll open the floor for a motion.
This is a motion to adopt the resolution.
Correct. If that's what is offered.
It is a
I'll make a
resolution.
motion to adopt the resolution.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Garrison?
Yes.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
Yes.
Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed.
And the next item, please.
Can I just read?
Sure.
Oh, okay. It was Counselor Bickford and Counselor Lunt, right?
Correct.
Order 2015-279, Appendix C, Fee Schedule, Cemetery Fees. First reading, roll call vote required.
We have in our packets the laying out of the cemetery fees. Pretty straightforward. Any comments or questions on this? Okay. I would ask from Mr. Janosko in the audience, this is a surprise to him. I didn't know he was going to be here tonight. In your experience with the funeral service, where do these fees lie in relation to other communities in your experience?
I just put a question mark under audience participation in response to new items out of respect for the placement in the agenda. But my only question to the council would be, all of these fees, I know where you're coming from and trying to fund the maintenance of the cemetery. I was here the night the town accepted that cemetery and made the point that the funds that are in perpetual care are there. That's what they call perpetual care. You can only use the interest. So if the town is going to charge someone $300 in addition to the opening of that grave to put in perpetual care fund, you're really not building your ready cash that you can use to maintain the cemetery, because by state law, if you're making the assumption and the impression to people this is going into perpetual care, it goes into trust, and you can only use the interest. Well, 1/10 of 1%, 1% interest, it's going to be a long time before those $300 amount to even 1 hour of minimum wage to have somebody mow. So you might want to reconsider, you can charge an opening fee, to be used for maintenance. There's nothing in state statute, to my knowledge, that says that you have to, if you represent it's going to perpetual care, best go all to perpetual care. The town's going to be on the hook later on. But you could say there's now there's a use fee, and half of this can go to perpetual care. You could put it in the maintenance fund for the cemetery. That would be my only question. If you're charging $300 to go to perpetual care, thinking you're going to build a perpetual care fund, you'll build the principal, but the working interest off of that money is going to be pretty minute.
I think when we were meeting, it's like on the new lots, the 575, 300 of that would go to perpetual care and the rest would go to the maintenance. Isn't that how in the recording of the deed?
That's in the purchase. I hear what
The
you're
law,
saying.
yeah. But you're
Mrs.
talking
Barnes.
about the 300.
But the 300 that you're going to try to recoup, and that's a problem all cemeteries have,
Yeah.
because ever since interest rates on savings have plummeted, all cemeteries who depend upon their resources to do maintenance are depending upon revenues generated through CDs, which are paying next to nothing. And so, how do you get the money to operate the cemetery? So you charge a fee of $300. Now you're going to use it. You could that could go to, as long as you don't say it's perpetual care. Once you say it's perpetual
Right.
care, it best go to perpetual care.
Right.
It could be a use fee and go to a fund that takes care of maintenance of the cemetery. And I'd consult with legal counsel before I really would, because like I say, I've been out of the loop for a little bit, but that's the old way of, if it goes perpetual care, you can't touch the principal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad I asked that question. I would, go ahead, Mr. Garrison.
Well, I had a question further down on the fees, the penalties for section 22. What are the sections 17, 18, and 19? I don't see those in my packet. It's violating section 17, 18, or 19 of the cemetery ordinance, so subject to the following fines. What are 17, 18, and 19? Because I don't have them.
I see we have
That's in
19
the
on.
original.
Yeah, I didn't see 17 and 18.
Yeah.
It's in the original ordinance.
Yeah, I haven't looked it up.
I don't think it was in this packet.
I don't see it in here
What's it
either.
say?
19 is bicycles,
I'll-
bicycles,
Bicycles,
motorcycles,
yeah.
recreation vehicles, horseback riding is prohibited.
Buses and
Mm,
something else.
yeah,
Go
it's
back
just
here, and this
before
one,
it
it says that any person found guilty of violating section 17, 18, 19, $50. See that? Page 41? Page 41.
I think what Council Garrison's asking is what is section
Right.
17
What are
and
17 and 18?
So
I have 19,
17
but-
is no person shall in the town cemetery carry any alcoholic liquor or narcotics, controlled substances into such cemetery, carry any firearms therein except in connection with funerals or Memorial Day or similar exercises, explode any fireworks, trespass upon any cemetery lot, make use of any loud, threatening, abusive, or indecent language, throw stones or other missiles therein, exhibit any show or play any game of chance therein, post any bill, notice, or other device on any tree or structure, do any obscene or indecent act upon whatever upon or within such cemetery, allow a domestic animal to roam in a cemetery unless restrained by a leash, failure to immediately remove and lawfully dispose of any feces left in a cemetery by a dog under his or her control, unless a dog accompanying any handicapped person who, by reason of his or her handicap, is physically unable to comply with the requirements of this section. Section 18 is injuring monuments. No person shall willfully destroy any tomb, gravestone, monument, or other object placed or designed as a memorial to the dead, or any fence, railing, or other thing placed about or enclosed in burial place, or willfully injure, remove or destroy any tree, shrub, or plant within such enclosure. And then Section 19 is bicycle, motorcycle, recreation vehicle, and horseback riding prohibited. No person shall ride a bicycle, motorcycle, recreation vehicle, or ride horseback in any town cemetery unless permission shall have been given by the superintendent to the town manager or the town council. And then the penalty is any person found guilty of these violations shall be subject to a fine of not more than $50 for the first offense and not more than $100 for each subsequent offense, to be reserved for the use of the town of Lisbon.
I'm not familiar with all these cemeteries. Can I assume none of them have any roadways in them? Any areas where a vehicle would be authorized to travel? Like some of the larger cemeteries? Some of the cemeteries in town do.
With the Davis? Some of them are really small.
The only reason I ask is if we're gonna let somebody with a car go down and deliver flowers, they can't do it on a motorcycle?
I was questioning the same thing.
Just a little curious.
Yeah.
And
I think we should table this.
I think so too, because we might be able to remove some of those since they are now considered town property. The fireworks, I think there's a different section that would be covered under that for a lot more money than $50.
So that's the language in the actual cemetery ordinance that you've
Yes.
already approved.
Okay.
So you want us to relook at that?
You might want to relook at that. I know, I was just thinking of the first one for fireworks by themselves, that they're gonna get hammered, what was it? $110 for your first one there. So would they get tagged for another $50 because it's in the cemetery and on? In which case I'd say, yeah, leave it, but,
I think we need to table this to relook at the language in 17, 18, and 19. And I think we also need to get some more clarification on the perpetual care.
Yep.
Because if our intention is to build our funds to use on those cemeteries, and as Mr. Janoska pointed out, which I wasn't aware of, we can only use a small interest amount, that's not going to equal anything, so we should maybe re-change the language so we can get around that some way. So I would say we table this.
Okay.
Just table to a new agenda. Council have any objection to tabling?
Nope.
Okay, all right. Move on to the next item, please.
Just a point of clarification,
Mhm.
the resolution set a couple of fees in there, so when you come back, if you're planning to,
Yep.
you'll have to redo another resolution.
For sure.
It's fine.
Order 2015-280, school capital reserve request.
In our packet, page 45, we have a capital reserve request from the school committee for the amount, in the amount of $1,623.70, not to exceed, for the installment of security cameras at the Public Works garage. This was a little while back. We looked at some security measures and measuring instruments down for the Public Works area. And the prices were broken, half of it was paid by the sewer department, and the other half was broken up by usage from all the town departments, and this is what came out to the school committee's portion, or the school department's portion. Also with the cameras that we decided, my understanding is the view will be able to cover the school buses as well to cover ground over there in case there are more issues with the school buses in the future. Open the floor for a motion for this request.
Make the motion to accept the $1,623.70.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
I believe that half was by.
Sewer
was it by
department.
The sewer department or
Yeah.
by the,
Oh, yeah.
Transfer
Transfer
station.
Was it transfer
transfer
station?
station?
Right.
I thought it
there-
was sewer department.
No, I believe it was transfer station. Took half.
Right,
Because we
Okay.
aren't doing anything to sewer department. That's kind of
yeah, over the overall cost, and
Yeah.
then the rest, the other half was
split up.
split up by all the departments.
Half of
that
it's covering
use
the,
the fuel.
that,
Yep.
and then the rest.
Well,
is-
thanks for the correction.
No
Yeah.
problem. Didn't want anybody listening going, sewer department.
I really thought it was sewer
It's the
department,
transfer
so.
All right.
station.
All right,
Transfer
very
station.
good. Glad we got that cleared away. A motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-281, Seniors
Oops, sorry.
Plus Agreement.
Diane?
This is just the annual agreement for the seniors. You know, the seniors, they administer a nutrition program that offers the home-delivered Meals on Wheels and the community-based dining sites to eligible adults. And as you know, this takes place at the MTM Center. So I just would like to have authorization to sign the annual agreement.
Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion to have Diane sign the agreement.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Only thing I would mention is to make sure that this company knows that Mr. Stephen Eldridge is no longer the town manager.
They corrected that somewhere.
I know, right?
Yeah, we need
I
that
get
corrected.
lots of mail like that now.
Very good. And all those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-282, the Public Works Addition Bid Awards Installation.
I believe I saw Ryan come out.
Lou,
Good evening.
as you know, we've been working on the addition to the Public Works garage, utilizing the insurance proceeds we received when the building was damaged. We put out a bid to spray foam the interior of the exterior walls and the roof of the new addition. We sent out to 3 bidders. We received 2 bids, one from All Seasons Weatherization for $24,413, and the second bid was from Spray Foam of Maine LLC for $28,255. And we recommend awarding the project to All Seasons Weatherization and Insulation. They're the same firm that we used when we did the initial remodel of the existing garage.
Open the floor for a motion or comments and questions.
I'll make the motion to accept.
Which one?
$4,413.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Give it that second to Council Garrison. Any comments or questions? My only question would be, you are satisfied with this company last time you dealt with them?
Absolutely, the place heated way, for as bad a winter as it was really, really, you could tell the difference, let's put it that way.
Okay,
So,
very good. Something that we're going to have for a while, so I just want to make sure that you are happy and you know, if the other company was better, but just would want more money, I mean, sometimes it's worth spending more money to get your product. So I just want to make sure you were satisfied with it.
Yes.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-282B, Public Works Addition Bid Awards Electrical.
We also sent out the RFP for the installation of electrical components, lights, outlets, new power panel in the addition as well. We sent it out to 6 contractors and received 1 bid by email from Enterprise Electric of $18,737. Enterprise Electric was the company that we used, again, in phase 1 of the remodel, and they're pretty familiar with the project, and just as soon move forward with those folks and get this part of it wrapped up before winter as well.
Any discussion here? I had one question. It's a little strange you only got, 1 bid back, so is this in line with what you were expecting to receive for a number?
Enterprise Electric originally gave me a price of $19,000 to do basically the same work before. If we recall, we went back and had discussions of whether or not we were just going to move forward with the vendors that we used before, and their estimate at the time was $19,000, and it came in a little bit less in the bidding environment, but no one else bid.
Okay. I'll open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept Enterprise Electric bid for $18,737.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Mativier? Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Thank you.
Before you run away, I got a question for you. With this being, with these 2 items being approved tonight, where does it put us on a timeline for this garage addition and budgetary? Where does that put
I know
us?
you're gonna ask that. I printed a current account status for that budget line today. It's a balance of $63,337. What has not been taken out of there would be the 2 items that you just approved, as well as the garage doors, which we went out to bid and received bids. That total was $7,400, and we're basically waiting for them to be installed at this point. And then we needed to do the heating component. I've already received 1 estimate that's since we haven't gone out to bid, or haven't gotten additional estimates, I'll just say is in the $5,000 to $10,000 range, closer to 5. So with all said and done, there's approximately a $7,000 project balance after these items are all wrapped up. So that'll leave us some options for framing in and sheathing the inside of the walls after they've been insulated, so we can hang shelves and whatever else we want to do. So feeling pretty good about where we stand with what we had for insurance money.
And do you feel this is going to be done before snow flies?
It better be.
Okay.
I don't see any reason why it won't be at this point.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. And the next item, please.
Is Order 2015-283, MMA voting credentials for MMA's annual business meeting.
Do either you or Diane want to go over this?
This is the annual appointment. You typically appoint an official from the municipal council here to be a voting delegate. I think Mark was the one last year. Is that correct, Mark?
I think so. Dylan and I both went up there. I'd like to
Yeah,
nominate
but
Dylan.
I think only,
When is it? October 7th.
October 7th, Wednesday.
This is October 6th.
so you
October 6th.
you nominate,
Memorandum says.
you
the 7th.
designate one and then
Oh, yeah, it's October 6th.
designate an alternate.
Oh, okay.
But I guess if nobody's gonna go, you probably don't need to even act on this.
I mean, I'm willing to go if people want me to, but,
Of course we do.
okay.
It really won't work for my schedule. October is haywire for me, so. I'll make a motion to appoint Councilor Mark Lunt as our representative.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Thank you, Mark.
Good job. Congratulations.
And the next item, please.
Other business, town manager's report.
The only thing I want to report on is I just haven't had time to do the fuel bids, plus we had the oil pumped out of the tanks, so I need to know what that is before I move forward with the bids, but I plan to do that hopefully for the next meeting.
Okay. Any questions? See none? Next item, please.
Department head reports. Written reports were given to the council for review.
In our packet, once again, this month, we have department head reports. I think this is another great asset to the council packets and council communications, getting to know what is happening within our departments, in addition to the everyday us coming in here and bothering the staff. We get the written reports, and also good for the public to be able to know what department heads are reporting out on. I had a citizen contact me after the last council meeting when we discussed these reports, and made a suggestion that I said I would bring forward to the rest of the council. Is the citizen asked if the department heads would ever be presenting in the council meeting. So those people that don't look at the council agendas online would hear from the department head once in a while. And I said, I don't know. I'll bring it up to the council and see what they say. So I was trying to mull over how we could make it work. And I thought one way we could make that work, if the council wanted to, was we could set up a schedule and have 2 department heads report every month and on a continuing cycle. So the first, 1 month could be police and fire, another month could be public works and sewer, and the other it could be economic development and library. Something on a rotating schedule. So there's always a department head sharing something publicly, and the people that just watch the tapes will be able to hear from those department heads on a continuing basis. I don't know what the rest of the council feels.
I think as long as there's a time limit on them.
Yep. Council think that's a good idea?
No.
Okay. Diane, could you put a schedule of some sort together, and nothing fancy? And we can start that next month. Did anyone have anything you want to pick out from these reports for questions? All right. Please thank the department heads, Diane, for providing these good, insightful information that I was reading at 3:30 this morning. It's good to have. And the next item, please.
Audience participation and response for new items.
Open the floor for audience participation regarding new items. Ms. Netto.
Excuse me. My name is Richard Nettle, Lisbon Falls. It's come to my attention last Friday from Mark Sherbach that he had suggested to me that they put a stop sign down on Davis Street where the trail comes out. I was talking with Mark Stevens today, and he thought probably rather than a traffic sign, that like a yield sign or something like that. And he was saying probably, since was also mentioned to Roger Bickford, that he probably ought to handle it. But I'm bringing it up to make sure that it does get brought up. I got one other thing.
Okay.
This bicycle thing that you put up over here, I don't know if it should be in that place or not, because I think that's more of a handicap place. I think it probably should have been somewhere else, but you got it, so it's probably water over the dam for me to say anything, because I didn't know it had gone up. It was going up, I don't know if it was today or the other day. Mark also suggested I look at that. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Netto. Is there anybody else? Ms. Fitzgerald?
Dorothy Fitzgerald, 6 School Street. Last meeting,
It was brought up that the town office needs new roofing. I'm wondering why you waited until after the budget season was completed and the tax rate was set to bring this up, because evidently you knew about this, that the town office roofing needed to be replaced quite some time ago. As Mrs. Barnes, town manager, mentioned, been picking up roofing shingles on the parking lot for some time now. So I'm wondering why you waited until after the budget season to bring this up, because you have your to-do list when you're doing the budget season. You know, the things that need to be done, the items that need to be purchased, big ticket items and things like that. I know the cemetery thing has been all discussed, but I'd like to make a comment. You mentioned purchasing a fee for purchasing lots. Some people buy single lots, some double lots, some triple lots. So I'm wondering if you considered that in your fee schedule. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Is there anybody else? Is anybody in the overflow room that can hear me that is coming out? Yes, sir.
Alan Ward, Plummer Street. I'd like to go back to the Article 3, and I'd like to get a rationale for cutting $234,188 from that article, and tie that into exactly why that would be a good idea, cutting another $262,656 off for a budget referendum for the school that failed in August. I'd like to hear something on that.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Ms. Keller.
Just to sort of go back to some of my concerns as we move forward as to some of the sort of inconsistencies of the position and sort of the precedent I think that sets. Just to sort of repeat the question before councilor comments, hopefully other councilors will share if they would vote for the budget if it did pass between this next session. I heard from the chair who said not until November, and I would like to know if the rest of the council feels that way. Furthermore, again, when I talk about precedent, you know, what else does this idea of a voting threshold apply to? If somebody is elected to the school board not in November, or town council, or sewer commission, not sure if there is one, but I'm making that up, or they're elected with less than 700 or 800 votes, does that election get vacated? Do people not get elected? When does it apply? When doesn't it apply? And when I talk about sort of inconsistency of positions, again, when I talked about sort of the earlier process, we heard state law trumps charter, yet because it didn't follow the budget referendum process, but at least from the council chair, he made it very clear he doesn't want to follow, he's not going to recognize any vote until November, which doesn't certainly follow that process either. And I would like to hear from the other councilors how you feel about that, and I think your constituents would. But again, I think it's a slippery slope, and as a community, we've got a lot of work to do to repair things so that people want to come here.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none. Close audience participation and move on to response. Does council have any response for any members of the public?
You know, I believe that, I don't believe in a June vote. Unless it's an emergency. Anything else, it ought to go to November. That's when the council, that's when the school board and water commissioners, they're all elected in November, not June. And it's just my opinion, and that's how I'd like to see it.
Okay.
My thoughts exactly. I can't add anything to it. As the same thing as what Councilor Bickford said. I believe that people come out and vote in November, and again, it's just our opinion, my opinion, his opinion, but
Any council have anything else to add to your response before I go on?
Only one thing. If you don't like that part of it, then you need to change it, not just say you don't like it. Right now, that's the way the budget works. It's voted on in June. If we're gonna change the process, if that's what you want, then we need to change the process, not just disregard the vote.
I agree.
Very good comment.
I agree with that, too.
I would be all for moving it to November. Anybody else? Council Crafts?
Kudos. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, I'll wrap up the audience participation response portion. Ms. Neto? No, at this point, we're done. Audience participation is closed. You can have a seat. I'm going on with the end of the rest of the meeting. We'll finish up. Ms. Neto, I will say that the stop sign or yield sign of some sort at the end of the trail on Davis Street is a good idea. I've seen people come down there off the hill at a high rate of speed and slide it on Davis Street. It's because it's not very clear that you're going onto a road. So I would suggest the administration look into some
We
sort of
are.
sign there.
Roger's
I
already
already
helped
gave
with
them the
that.
signs.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. There we go.
No charge to the town either.
Oh, very good. It's free. That's what we like. And then the bike rack in front of the town office. I think it's a good spot for it. It looks good. It's a good eye catcher. Ms. Fitzgerald, regarding the cemetery fees, I'm assuming that they thought about that when the administration came up with, and the committee came up with the fee. But I don't know that for sure, and I'll ask that question next time we look at these fees, which, as you heard tonight, will be coming up in a future meeting. So thank you for bringing that up. It's a good point. Mr. Ward, as I've said all along, the taxes were committed, and Article 3 had to be cut in order to make the tax cut, because that's what we put in the tax commitment, and that's what we have to do because we can't raise more than we've already committed. Then Mr. Kaler, the voting threshold, that is simply, it's a subjective opinion, being a slippery slope. I don't believe it is, and every counselor is entitled to their own opinion for moving forward. Can I move on to the next item, please?
You didn't answer the roof.
Oh, the roof.
She asked about the roof.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Dot. I didn't even write that down. The roof, I can't answer that question. I didn't know about the roof until everyone else found out about it. I don't know if the administration had just found out, or if it was going to be part of the Siemens project and then it couldn't make it in the cut. I don't know. I'm not sure if Diane has an
It
answer for
was.
that.
It was part of the work that Siemens was gonna do, the roof, but after they've went up and inspected it, it had deteriorated a lot compared to when they first looked at it, when they first put this together, which it was quite a while ago. Ryan talked about it at that meeting, and they don't have enough money left in the project to do the roof. They would have to do the entire roof because of the way the shingles are separating. So that's the issue. But I believe, I wasn't here at the time, when they first looked at the different projects, different buildings and the roof, it wasn't as bad as it is now. And they are only 15-year shingles, and we're in year 14. So, but
When-
at the time of the budget, we did not know that they would not have the money to do it, and that they were gonna propose replacing the whole roof, not at the budget season. We
Okay.
just found that out.
It's unfortunate that it happened that way, but I mean, it is what it is.
Where are you gonna find the funding for that?
We have we have whatever's left over that we're not gonna spend, that we're gonna use, which is about 38,000, 40,000, and then we've got the money that we're gonna get back from the interest. I think it's like about 25,000 we get back on the interest that we're paying on the loan.
Mhm.
Isn't that right, Ed? It's about 25,000, and then the rest, it's gonna depend on what the bid is, what the bid comes in at. Maybe we can use undesignated fund balance, I don't know.
Which loan?
65 grand there.
Yeah.
and They said somewhere between 50 and 100 for
Yeah.
for a 50-year or whatever it was for shingles, so
Lifetime, they said.
it's not coming in it's not any new money that we gotta go run out and put our hands out for. Stuff that's already there.
Diane, when you say interest back from the loan, which loan?
Well, it's from the energy project,
Okay,
Siemens.
thank you.
from the QECB bond.
All right, very good. And we'll move on to the next item, please.
Is council communications?
Open the floor for any council communications.
I just have one thing. I may not be here Thursday.
Okay.
Depends on what goes on
Very
in the
good.
next 2 days.
Very good. I wish you the best with you and your family.
Thank you.
Anything else? I just want to simply mention that I saw that the Moxie Committee is accepting themes for the 2016 festival. The theme opening is until October 14th. You have to have it posted by midnight, I believe, if I read the article correctly. So send those on into the town office if you want to submit a theme. And the only other thing I have is over the past several days, I've got a lot of phone calls from senior citizens. There is a rumor floating around in the community that the council will be discussing eliminating the senior program that happens down at the Marin T. Moore Center. And I assured every senior that I personally don't know anything about that discussion. So if there's a side discussion about it, I'm not aware of it, but I wanted to bring it up, and for the seniors that will be watching the video on Friday, that I value the senior program, and my vote won't be for it to move anywhere if that ever came up, but I'm not familiar with that discussion at this point. It's an unfortunate situation that seniors are worried about that because they shouldn't be, but I guess it's the nature of the beast.
Being a senior on this council, I'll say the same thing. I haven't heard anything about it, and they won't get my vote.
Very good. Anything else? The next item, please.
The next item would be executive session, Order 2015-284 and 5, to go into executive session per 1 MRSA Section 405, 6C, acquisition or disposition of real property or economic development, and 405, 6E, consultations with legal counsel.
I'll open the floor for a motion.
Make the motion.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any discussion? A vote possibly could follow. I'm not 100% sure. All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And we will be staying in here.
Strike it.
Yes.
Many.
328 Lisbon Street. All right. They have left.
Larry had to go home. Takes all the fun out of it.
So on Thursday, we'll touch base.
Does he ever?
Yes.
Well, yeah, he does actually. Well, it depends on the day. Let's see, we can turn off the do not disturb now. Nobody has bothered to call me, so that's a good thing.
She will, but you can, I'm gonna be checking my emails too.
I'll bring the Lisbon Town Council meeting for September 15th, 2015 back to order. We came out of executive session at 9:26 with a motion from Councilor Mativier, second by Councilor Bickford with a 7-0 vote. And we'll bring us back to the regular agenda. We do have 3 votes to follow.
So, which is your topic? 2015-286 would be your
286.
next vote?
Yep.
Okay.
I will make a motion that the town convey properties at 3 Village Street to Lisbon Holdings LLC under terms to be negotiated by the town manager and the town attorney, and to execute the town manager, and to authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete the transaction.
Ellen, you've been drinking, but
we don't want to execute
Let's try it again. Let's try this again.
Would you like to place that on file?
there.
I will make a motion that the town convey properties at 3 Lisbon Street to Lisbon Holdings LLC under the terms to be negotiated by the town manager and the town attorneys, and to authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete the transaction.
It's not 3 Lisbon Street, it's 3 Village Street.
Yeah,
What did I say?
Lisbon Street.
I wrote it, 3 Village Street. That's the first, the first time you read it.
I don't
getting
wanna,
late.
I don't wanna spell check you, but
He's running
We all
on a
know
few
what it
hours of
is.
sleep.
3 Village Street.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
7-0? Okay.
Nope, well,
Nope, 6-1.
Okay.
I'm opposing.
1, anybody else against, just 1?
not really against, he just wants more information. Not gonna get.
All right, we'll go to the next item.
287.
No, wouldn't that be under, wouldn't that still be under
Next one.
284?
No, we're doing these in different, all different orders.
2015, 287?
Correct.
Okay.
We'll see if I can read this one a little better. Motion that the town,
I see what he's saying.
you all set, Greg?
Yeah, I'm losing it. Sorry.
Motion that the town sell properties on Ridge Road, tax map R05, lot 1C, to Dale John Crafts for the town asking price of $82,900, and to authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete the transaction.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
0, 6. All those opposed? All those abstained? Okay. 601, order passed.
And the third vote will be 2015 288.
Yes.
That the town offer a retirement incentive to employees with at least 35 years of continuous service to the town as of September 1st, 2015, that would allow employees who elect to participate to receive a monthly payment of $833 towards the cost of health insurance for a period of 3 years following their separation of employment. I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All those in favor?
7 this time? All those opposed? No? Okay, 7-0.
And now that will take us out of the executive session section and move us on to item number 15, please.
Item number 15, to adjourn?
13.
13.
Pass those to me so I can give them to
Order 2015-289 to adjourn?
Open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
Thank you.
There should be some papers going around for signatures.
Yes, I do have some signatures I
I've
need.
got some here.
Are there enough signatures?
Almost made it
Question
tonight,
I have
but
is
we
on the
missed it by 2
resolution.
minutes.
I hope my
Twyla,
is not
that resolution, that still goes through because we
It did
approved it?
because you
Okay.
approved it, yeah. And then we'll
But-
just
Signed all those, right?
revisit that.
Revisit it if we change the
The
prices.
300, yeah, for the,
I think
Well,
it'll
do I
just
still
be,
need-
probably just the wording is what we're gonna have to tweak.
Yeah.
do you want to turn it in if you get a new one? Or do you want to keep it?
I don't wanna keep that in my one and last year recycle reuse, because if there's anything in the LFP.
No, then people would accuse us of
Now, that one
editing the
was
tape
good.
again.
Gonna execute the town
Well,
manager.
listen,
We're going
the
by
governor-
hanging, or?
The governor
Have
said we
a-
gotta round up all the Lewiston delegates and execute them in the public square, so we'll just add Diane to the delegation.
Just by hanging, or?
Good night, everybody.